In this video, you will learn more about assortative mating. Assortative mating is a non-random mating pattern where individuals similar to each other mate with one another more frequently than what would be expected under a random mating pattern. This leads to a non-zero spousal correlation. So for a specific trait, two persons in a couple will be more correlated. Think a moment about which traits you expect to see assortative mating in humans. For which traits do romantic partners resemble each other? Traits that come to mind are of course traits like personality or height, like in this drawing. Studies do find a positive spousal correlation for personality, height or weight, but one of the highest correlation is found for IQ and years of education. This is not so surprising if you think that many people find their partners during their studies or at work. Assortative mating can be caused both by assortment, which is the initial selection of a similar mate, or by convergence, which is when couples become similar over time spent together. In genetic studies, assortative mating usually refers to genetic assortative mating, where mates are not only phenotypically similar but also genetically. This is usually a case of assortment. Genetic assortative mating has consequences for the estimation of heritability of a trait. Indeed, assortative mating means that the parents and the parents' genotypes are more similar than expected if random mating. Which also means that the offsprings are more similar to their parents than expected, and their genotypes are more similar to those of their parents, and siblings and their genotypes are also more similar to each other than expected under random mating. This affects the estimation of heritability. For example, if you use a parent offspring study, for example, by comparing birth parents with offspring adopted apart, you will overestimate heritability because you overestimate the correlation between the birth parents and the child. If you use a twin model, dizygoted twins are equivalent to siblings, so they are more similar than expected, so the DZ correlation will be increased. On the other hand, monozygoted twins are identical genetically, so the correlation doesn't change with assortative mating. So if you think back to how you calculate heritability and shared environment estimates, you can see that assortative mating will decrease the estimate of A and increase the estimate of C. If you estimate the SNP heritability with a GWAS, the heritability will be increased in case of assortative mating because assortative mating increases the genetic variance in the population.